and you just sort of keep your ears open and you hear about other opportunities to meet up with writers. Hello, aligned authors. I'm Valerie Isan, and this is episode 213 of the podcast, and it is June 3rd, 2026, as I record this. Today, I'm going to be talking about growing a writing community. But first, I want to thank all of my existing patrons for believing in my work offline and here on the podcast. If you are a patron at either tier, you get all my content always. You can support me and my dreams and my writing and my aligned author life for $11.11. And I would be so, so grateful, truly, heart to heart. Gratitude for your gifts. If you want coaching too, with 2 live calls each month, you can back me at $55.55 a month, and you will never find coaching sessions for less money than this. So if you've ever wanted continued support for your writing and accountability for your projects, this is the way to do it. You can go to patreon.com/Valerie Isan, IHSAN. And you can support Erick Mertz, my friend and colleague and visiting co-host here on the podcast at patreon.com/Strange Air Stories for short stories in the paranormal mystery genre. Okay, updates. I am designing my next writing retreat here in Costa Rica. Yay! It's going to be in February 2027. That's about 8 months from now. It's going to be my first international retreat. Even though I live here now, I'm still considering it an international retreat because I do most of my business in the States for people in the United States. So, for them, it would be an international retreat. So there are a lot more moving pieces than I had first imagined. So I'm taking this course on all the legalities and best practices of running retreats. So if you're interested in updates on the retreat as I put them out, you can go to valerieisan.com/retreat. That retreat page is not built out right now, but there is a waitlist button. So you can go to valerieisan.com/retreat and click the button for the waitlist. And then you'll be on a waitlist email list, and I'll continue to update you as it progresses. I am going to be doing some not even mini, micro writing retreats through my patron page. And I imagine it being this cozy little online gathering where we'll set intentions. I'll pull an oracle card. We'll do a little check-in with each other, and then we will write side by side. So that is totally in line with today's topic. So I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. We are continuing talks with our architect. We're right now waiting to approve the latest layout design. And then there will be an initial payment since we haven't paid this guy at all yet. This is all like pre-payment work that he does for people. So after we do that first initial payment, then he will take the design that we've approved and create a 3D rendering of it. And then we'll see what that looks like. So that's our next thing. And we're also concurrently started the process for the water concession. And that's kind of like a permit to use the water that's already on the site. And tomorrow we are driving to San Isidro, which is about an hour and a half, 2-hour drive away, to meet up with a lawyer to sign papers for our vehicle's nationalization process. So that'll be done tomorrow. I don't know how much longer. I'm hoping that we'll get some update on how much longer our car will be in this bonded warehouse getting its new plates and getting inspected and all that stuff. And then we'll have to, pay the import fees, which are pretty substantial in this country. So there's that to get ready for as well. I just finished reading Soul Sourced Entrepreneur by Christine Kane and Rain Delay by Erick Mertz. That's a beta read. His book isn't quite out yet, but I was privileged to read the manuscript and I just finished that a day or two ago. So now, what I'm reading now for my nonfiction book is Creative Act by Rick Rubin. Going to finish that finally. And the two novels that I'm reading right now, because that's who I am, is Mosswood Apothecary by J.P. Rindfleisch the Ninth and The Reliable Narrator by Grace Salmon. And I've mentioned both those titles before. So when you're reading multiple books at once, they start leaving the list, but you're still reading some of the same books for quite a while until they're all finished. And then it looks like you just read 5 books in one week and you really didn't. But that's kind of the way I read books these days. Okay, let's get into the main topic of growing a writing community. So I've been working with authors and other writers for, gosh, less than 20 years now, almost 2 decades though. So, and then I was writing without helping other authors, way before that. So I've been writing for like 30 years off and on, doing different writing projects. And at the very early ages of my writing, when I was first, emerging baby writer, I didn't have a lot of writing community. So the way I learned about that was taking a college class in creative writing, like a novel writing class. And from that, critique groups formed, from the other people that were in those classes. And so that's how I started to kind of hang out with other writers. And then I found out about, this is all in Eugene, Oregon, by the way. Then I found out about a writing organization in that area that had a chapter in Eugene, and I started attending their monthly meetings. And then all of a sudden, I had all these other writers that I could hang out with. And you just sort of keep your ears open and you hear about other opportunities to meet up with writers. There's always meetup groups too. In the States, it's really easy actually to find people who are like-minded in the same way you are in about writing. So now that I've had years and years and years and decades of writing community around me, all of a sudden in a foreign country, I feel not at a loss, but I kind of have to, go back to the basics and start over a little bit with the old writing community still kind of in my back pocket. And I'll explain more about that in just a second. So the first thing, well, let's just say, let me make reference to the pandemic too. So when the pandemic hit in 2020, everybody's writing community, all the classes we go to and all the, chapter meetings for Willamette Writers or whatever writing organization was in your state at the time, all of that ended abruptly. And I was kind of sort of peripherally involved with a couple of online writing communities, but I wasn't active in them because I had an active in-person writing community in the neighborhoods that I lived in. So once the pandemic hit and we were all online, I started relying very heavily on those online writing communities. So that's going to be my first tip. And the one that I'm going to do from Costa Rica, my very next step is going to be doing a Google search and a ChatGPT search for, in my case, English speaking writing groups, critique groups, organizations, retreats, workshops, conferences in this country and see if anything pops up. or bilingual because I am learning Spanish, but and to I'm not saying I wouldn't attend an only Spanish speaking like writing workshop, but I might, yeah, that one I would have to I think I'd have to practice listening to some Netflix Spanish speaking without the subtitle TV shows for a little bit before I was willing to walk into an only Spanish speaking, like instructional workshop or something. I think that would be a little bit rough, but I'm not above doing that. I'm definitely, that's going to be one of my steps. But first one, I'll just look for the English speaking writing groups and critique groups. So just to see if there's something already established near where I'm living that I want to know about. And then I do have a couple of Costa Rican colleagues in the writing world already, and I can check in with them and ask them how they stay connected to the writing world and the industry, and if they have people that they meet or know about, and how they keep writing, being away from the hubs that they're used to. So I can do that. That's step two or tip number two. The third tip is to ask my personal community, like my neighbors right here. I don't know if privileged or blessed, or it's a good thing. I'm not sure what word I would use, but most of the people that are residents in this community that I am adjacent to are all on a WhatsApp group. And so I can put out like a bulletin, announcement for um, questions or events that I want to put on. So I'm going to check in with my personal neighborhood community and find out if there are any writers here already that I don't know about. I've met most of the people that live here, but I don't know if I know of one writer that I just happened to find out about walking to my car after a dinner that was at the community center. It was just sort of like a off the cuff remark. And I was like, oh, you're a writer? Me too. Yay. So ask if anybody else is a writer that you know in your neighborhood. So that's the next tip. Number four is to, I think I already said this, to check online and find a good fit for you. Like there's so many online writing communities already established that you could plug into. And it's just a matter of finding one that, works with the technology that you already use and has the right kind of, vibe. There's Facebook groups all over the place, Discord groups. There's there's so many to choose from that are just online that you could kind of plug into. And again, like I said, maybe perhaps you're already peripherally, in a part of, and you can actively re-engage with that. For instance, I mean, it's not unofficial at all, but I'm a patron of the Dialogue Doctor, and they've got a Slack group and podcasts and monthly discussion groups, and these are all writers that get together on a regular basis already. Sort of, they're all from all over the world, and so it is an online thing. They do local events as well, but obviously, I'm not going to fly to Maryland to go to a book fair, but I already am a patron of the Dialogue Doctor, so I can really plug into that and utilize that to my advantage. So check online, find a writing community that, is your vibe. And in my case, maybe ones that I'm already kind of peripherally involved in and really re-engage with that. So that was number 4. Number 5 is to find an accountability buddy. So there are lots of stages of accountability that you can plug into. Maybe you just want a person that will text you or email you like once a week and ask you, how many days a week did you write this week? Or what project are you working on? Or, what issues are you running into? Or how many words did you write yesterday? Things like that. Or somebody that you're meeting in person, like stopping at a coffee shop and writing together or chatting together, just so that you have kind of a pulse on somebody else, getting out of your head, getting out of your space, and seeing a person, in the real world, meeting in person. If that's not available to you, you can definitely use Zoom or Discord or Facebook to do these video calls where you're meeting live with someone through a video call and chatting with them and having that be your little writing community. A community, is 2 people plus. So even if it's just one other person that becomes your accountability buddy, it's still going to feel good to chat with them and touch base with them. And then, of course, you can also do these write-ins together, either in person or online through Zoom or Discord or Facebook Messenger. FaceTime, I guess it's called. There's also paid accountability. And I'm going to go back to number 5, actually. So on the accountability buddy, where do you find these? Again, you're going to be checking in with those Facebook groups you might be a part of, or if you're involved in other organizations already, like I said, that peripheral. So I could, like, for instance, the Dialogue Doctor, I could plug into their Slack group again and say, hey, I live at this time zone. I'd really like to join somebody as an accountability partner to write together with you in this time zone. Is anybody, interested? So you can just put out the feelers kind of like that. So back to number 6, paid accountability. So I know that, like, Rachel Herron has an online Write With Me thing. I'm doing those micro retreats for my patrons. If you're interested in when the next one is, actually the first one, I'm just now starting it and getting it ready. So when that happens, you can go to patreon.com/Valerie Isan and sign up as a member, as a patron, and then you'll get the messages when those micro writing retreats happen. And then, of course, you can always employ a book coach, who is somebody that will meet with you weekly or biweekly and hold you accountable to your word count, or brainstorm book ideas, or outline, get help and feedback on your pages. And of course, there's always, the traditional critique group as well. And again, finding those through online groups or classes in your area. And then writing organizations, I forget what number this is now, 6, 7, something like that. Writing organizations often have an online component as well. So in my case, since probably getting to a English speaking writing conference is a little bit out of my way and out of my capabilities in this moment in time, I'm going to be looking for those writing organizations that have online conferences. There's online summits. Some of them are free too. I see them come across my email inbox quite often. And so I can plug into those free online summits, free online conferences. Organizations that have a regular annual conference often have virtual tickets that you can purchase as well if you're not able to go in person. And then, of course, there's online master classes and workshops by your favorite authors. Some of them are free, some of them are paid. So just really doing the research and finding what's out there. So those are some of my biggest tips for growing your personal writing community to bigger status than it is. And just remember that because we do live in this globalized world now, we're never alone. There's always somebody in our time zone that will meet with us and write with us at the times that we want to write. So I think that is the advice that I would give you and that I'm going to take myself. I'm going to start that search and just see what's here, check in with my community that I'm already established with to see if anybody's a writer, find somebody online or in person that I can talk shop with and just have that um, listen to somebody else talk in industry jargon and bounce ideas off, and someone that will write alongside me either via Zoom or in person just to get the word count going again. So those are my top tips for growing a writing community, no matter what stage you're at. And if you've got any tips for me as well, or any networking ideas around this topic, please email me, Valerie@valerieeson.com, and let me know what those tips are. I definitely want to get some more community going for me here in Costa Rica. So that's it for now. See you next time.